And welcome back to the Way of the Wandering Wizard. I am, as always, Robert Andrew Meredith Kennedy. I am a pure and open channel for the finest vibrations of divine love and light, made manifest here, in service to Gaia and those who travel with her. In my last little videoette, accompanied by seagulls and spitfires, it's all go here, folks, I was waxing lyrical about a few booms and bangs on my journey. That behind me, I'd started to really look at myself, really actively engaged in self-healing and understanding more and more about what I'd been through from all aspects, both from PTSD and trauma clearance within the body, through to traumas from past lives, all matters of mindfulness work, and of course my Reiki practice. After that rocky moment, despite the challenges, the challenges of life ongoing, I found the next 3 years of my life to be really healing my mind, understanding my mind, and regaining myself, refinding those bits, if you like, that had been fragmented during the accident. As I look at it from where I sit now, it really was another 3-year section of my life. Now there's a lot to attribute to that regaining of that balance. The first one was having made the acceptance that maybe copious quantities of the NHS finest, as wonderful as it was making me feel, was not doing me much service. On slowing those down, obviously, my old way of dealing with things was a tendency to use the NHS painkillers, come off them as soon as I could, prove to everyone and myself that I was doing fine, finish a day's work, think, ooh, that's a bit achy, have a couple of smokes, have a couple of beers, go to bed, get up and do it again. Well, I tried that post-accident, and that didn't work. I still needed some degree of pain relief, and so I just phased out the ones that I was really struggling with. The amitriptyline I cut straight out, which meant that I was a bit more, mentally did not slow my mind down at night. So I took to smoking. I was already consuming cannabis. I was consuming it unconsciously, so to speak. It always helped. I knew that it was a medicine. I knew that it had something about it. So I started to really look into the wider field of cannabis, and cannabis is a medicine. It was an exciting time. I started reading the great Johann's Chasing the Scream. All of these texts, there are so many works, websites, seminars, TED Talks on the subject. You don't need me to add much to the understanding of what cannabis is. The purpose of this video and channels is to show how it worked. I know that by gaining a greater understanding of cannabis in its wider context, in its historical context as a medicine, helped me to change the way that I work with it. Now don't get me wrong, there is very much a part. There are no differentiations. What could be considered as a recreational way of unwinding at the end of a busy day, or dealing with moderate amounts of pain through life, which was what I was doing for years, is that medicinal? Or is my current medically prescribed cannabis, consumption, shall we say, the reverse of that? Is that a recreational because every now and again I need to feel pain-free and enjoy my life? Is it two ways of looking at the same thing? It was during this time I discovered, through my reading and through the science that was just starting to unfold, of a wonderful physical system within our bodies, the endocannabinoid system. I don't intend to give too long a lecture about this, as I regularly say, I don't know much. I'm a jack of all trades, I know enough to get you interested. then go away and form your own research. Look into this subject. This is my little personal part of a journey of when I awoke to a wider use of cannabis. I initially was using it for physical pain and realised that it was actually helping me maintain a degree of control, and that my PTSD symptoms, albeit that as they healed were lessening. With the moderated use of cannabis, I was able to achieve, strangely enough, what the plant seeks to achieve, which is homeostasis, balanced humanity. Reiki, at its core, is a process of mental homeostasis. The combination of Reiki and energy work in combination with my cannabis quite literally unlocked a system which has allowed me to make good use of both my mind and my body to achieve a level of balance. It's taken me years to gain that level of understanding to work. The choice, if we miss dose, the terrible sidelines is we tend to get a little bit giggly. We can get a little bit drifty. We can become more mindful, more appreciative. All of these are the physical benefits I experience, and many others do. And predominantly for me, as a wizard, a lot of it is tied to that process of mindfulness. I have been told, and I don't doubt it, at times folk will say, it's all in your mind, Bob. That's not what's doing. The fact that I have that mind-physical connection is something that I've learned over the years, and this is me speaking now. At the time I was probably a little bit more, let's try this one, that seems to help. Oh, let's try that one, that seems to help. What's this about? What's that about? What is this magnificent book, the Cannabis Health Index? Body of text that shows us where research has been done, where empirical evidence for a multitude of things once. And I, like many, sat there going, oh, how is this miracle plant doing all of these things? I'm a scientist. I have a chemistry background. Seriously, how? So I looked into it and the complexities of the plant's chemistry. Not just the main factors that we all look for in CBD and THC. So looking at the bass note and the high note in a beautiful suite of music. In many ways, cannabis is symphonic in its chemical availability once we understand it through multiple means of ingestion. And this is a wise old wizard that's discovered the joys of CBD and cannabis cream for pain relief on my legs, hips, aching backs. If that cream is delivered through somebody's hands, a trained therapist, a massage therapist, an energy worker, that imparts that on top of the essential biological component of cannabis. These were exciting times in my life. I was really waking up to something that was helping me and helping many others. Now, this has been a gradual process. Clearly the person talking to you now is the product of that process, which I will go on in length. But it was important for me now, as cannabis will become part of this journey, that I absolutely put it into context for those of you that are following old myths, old ways of working, old ways of looking at it. Cannabis is many things. It's not a magic bullet that we can take 3 drops of and everything just disappears and all is well in the world. Does it improve? Yes, because it helps us to maintain our internal balance within a world which, let's face it, doesn't feel that balanced at times. While the natural world may be striving for that balance, in our mental world, at the speed we move at, that imbalance is still felt. Maybe there's a reason why this ancient plant that has co-evolved with humanity is becoming more prevalent in our society. As my story and journey will now unfold the fact that many of us have criminalised over the years for that involvement has been a source of mythness to me. Which just goes to show that I'm learning. If I'm here in public, it's not my job to rant and rave and roar. It does no good. My role is to share the wisdom, share some of the understanding, open a few eyes to a different way of looking at this. A fundamental understanding from the energy alone of these plants as they interact with our energy is something that is of merit and worth investigation. Even if it turns out to be a figment of a pipe dream of wizards, it was worth investigation. It's been an interesting journey for me. It certainly has. I've had my moments, I've certainly had my tests of late. And for those of you who hear that little ripple in time, I'll tell you a tale of what happens when I tried the polar opposite of my current state. It's not pleasant. One for the future. That said, it has given me an experience now that I can share, track back to what I was discovering then. Has it worked for me? Yes. Most certainly. Has it worked because of a combination of my mind and my understanding with body process and herbal remedy? Of course, because we're all a combination of all of it. And once we understand that we are a complex combination of mind, body, soul and emotion all rolling together as a human being, and quite how frail and how strong that can be, maybe then we'll start to make some sense of our lives and sense of this planet. So thank you for listening to the witterings and wanderings of a cannabis-infused wise old wizard, while he and she speaks of what it is to make a connection with cannabis. The fact that I, on my path, have now fully embraced the path of the shaman. Why? Because in order to heal myself, I've had to go within my own mind. That's been the journey. Has cannabis been a part of that journey? Yes. Has it been the cause of that journey? No. And many people that smoke and don't have anything like the experiences that I have. It's because I'm using it medicinally to manage extreme experiences in my life, to make sense of them, along with many. So, here's an open offer to the world, if you want to share this one. Listen to those with experience. It's not a cure for everything. Complex process is healing. But it certainly could be helped by being decriminalised, because the stigma of that has affected me and affected many people who I know and love. So if we can change one thing in this lifetime, can we change that, please? Now, it would appear that I'm starting to soapbox. So, bizarrely as this may sound, I'd probably better go out and have a smoke. Keeps me off my pedestal. Keeps me firmly planted where I'm supposed to be working. Here in my hench. Take care, go well, and blessed be. And no doubt I'll be back in a moment, because clearly I appear to be on a bit of a roll.